Hello everyone, Drake Robinson here, and I gotta tell y'all about, the story, what just happened. So I was at work, right? I work retail, I'm not gonna say where, but I, I, I work retail, and I actually ran into an old, crush of mine in high school. Um, y'all don't understand, I was like madly in love with this chick, like madly. But she, was one of those stuck up chicks who didn't give guys like me the time of day. You know the tip. I'm sure a lot of you good guys out there can relate to this. Yeah, so yeah, and she runs into, it's the weirdest thing in the world when these privileged blue pillar people, not just females, but people in general, like, they treat you like garbage in high school, like you don't even exist. They're so above you, the stuck up privileged kind. But then when they see you outside of high school, they act like we're old friends. Like, God, I literally hate when that happens. So anyway, so she recognizes me. She's like, "Oh, hi." She's in the checkout line, and I'm checking her out, and I'm like, and she's like, "Oh, hi. How are you?" I'm like, "I'm good." She's like, "How you been?" And I'm like, uh, "Same old, I guess." And I couldn't help but notice she had two little kids with her, so I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So I was like, "Oh, these yours?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, so okay." So you didn't give me the time of day in high school, but you give probably some Chad, most like Chad or Tyrone, most likely all your time in the world. Okay. So I jacked up the prices on two of her items. To I don't feel bad for doing that. I'm glad I did that. She was like, "Oh, those cost such and such there." I was like, "Oh well, here they cost a little bit. They cost a little bit more. That's probably just an online item. Here they cost a little bit more." Um, yeah, um, well, good. I'm glad I kind of messed up her day right there. I don't feel bad for doing that. I'm glad I did that. Because let me just tell you, I, I, like, if you treat me like garbage, like, why should I treat you like with any respect whatsoever? Like, like, that bitch. I tell you something, y'all. Y'all don't understand. Like, 'cause I swear, some people just don't realize how terrible of people they are until they reach adulthood, and they're like, "Oh, I was such a bad person." I wish I hadn't been that way. But it's too late now. The person you wronged, like, doesn't just forget. Some people may do, but I don't forget. Like, you do me wrong, like, especially when I'm a nice guy, always have been, never done anything bad to anybody in my life. Treating everyone with the utmost positivity and respect. You know, I I don't deserve that kind of disrespect. You know what I'm saying. So I'm so so something it's just sad. Like you you sit there and kind of laugh in my face like I've forgotten everything you've done to me since high school. Like the emotional trauma you put me through with just ignoring me and acting like I was just a lesser than being than you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot stand that type of stuff. No one is, in my opinion, no one is lesser than anyone, but apparently to the blue pillars and the privileged people, that doesn't really apply. That whole thing doesn't really, concept of fairness doesn't apply. There's a hierarchy, and apparently I'm not in it. You guys aren't in it. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just had to tell y'all my experience with that, because it just, I'm glad I kind of missed up her day right there. I don't regret it at all. So, yeah, yeah, hopefully, I'd love to say hopefully she turns into a better person, but I doubt that. Anyway, if you guys like to request a video of your own, Cash App is in the description. Only $1. Any video you like, and I'll give it to you from a black pillar's perspective. Alright, I'm out.